Hi everyone, I'm teacher Cheryl and welcome to my channel. So in the last set of videos, we actually looked at how to answer inference questions, and I gave you 3 very simple steps that you can apply when answering inference questions. If you haven't watched the videos yet, I will leave a link to all the videos in the description box below for you. And so in today's video, we will look a little bit more at how to become a better reader. Now, there are many people who always say, read more and you become better at reading, you become better at understanding, and it will help your reading comprehension as well. However, what does it actually mean to become a better reader? So being a good reader means that you need to be able to understand the text, you need to be able to read between the lines, as well as understand what the writer is trying to say. So we are going to be looking at a critical reading technique, and you can use this technique in order to help you improve your reading skills, basically to help you understand whatever text that you're reading a little bit better. So the text that we're going to be looking at today is an article from the website The Observer. As you can see on my screen here, I will leave a link in the description box for you if you would like to look at the entire article. The article is pretty long, so what I've done is to pick out a part of the article that I'm going to be looking at, and you can download the worksheet from the link below as well. Okay, so let's get on with our critical reading technique today. I use the acronym PRIS, so P-R-I-S, and let's go through what P-R-I-S stands for. So step 1 is our P, and P is where we preview and predict the text. So this is where we do not look at the text yet. We don't read the text. What we should do is look at everything else besides the text in that sense. So what I mean by that is to look at the text features. Okay, so this could include your heading, it could include your synopsis, it could include any other pieces of information that you can get about the text without actually reading the text itself. So if, for example, you look at the title of the text, you can kind of predict what the text is going to be about. So this step is basically preparing your mind to understand what the text is going to be about. Once you've done that, we go on to step 2, and step 2 is R, which is to actually read the text. So here, as you're reading, it's not just a mindless reading, but make sure that you are noting down any thoughts or comments that you have about the text. If it's a story, just note down anything interesting that you found about the text, or basically any thoughts that come to mind. There's no right or wrong answer at this point of time, but this is just to help you really make sure that you understand what is going on in the text itself. After you've read through the text once through, then you go on to step 3. And in step 3 is where we infer. So this is a very, very crucial skill that you will need to have in order to help you really fully understand the text. So here, ask yourself questions after every single paragraph. Some examples of questions you can ask are why, how, what. So maybe something like, why did this character behave this way? Or how did the cat get up onto the tree? So any kinds of questions. Again, there are no right or wrong questions here. It's just about you asking questions about the text itself. You are just training yourself to think a little bit more critically about the text, and this overall will help you with your understanding of the text. Do take note that you may not get answers to all the questions that you ask. Sometimes you may find the answers in the text itself, but sometimes you may find that there are actually no answers. And once again, that's okay, because all you're doing right now is just to train yourself to think critically. So now that we've previewed and predicted the text, we have read through the entire text as well, noted down our own thoughts, and also asked ourselves some questions about the passage. Now we go on to the final step, which is to summarize. So you should be summarizing the main idea of each paragraph. Now, most of the time, the main idea, you can kind of get it from the topic sentence or the closing sentence of each paragraph. These sentences usually contain the main idea of the paragraph itself. So it's good to understand what each paragraph is trying to tell you so that you can understand, well, what the writer is trying to say. So now I've explained to you the 4 steps. Let's look at an example. So we're going to start off with step 1, preview and predict. As I mentioned before, this is an article from The Observer, and this is the information that I have about the text. It says, the article below is about the challenges faced by those who aspire to be a K-pop star. So from this summary, we can already gather that we are going to be looking at some challenges that certain people face, and what kind of people specifically are those who aspire to be K-pop stars. So they are not actually stars yet, but they want to become a K-pop star. And the title of this text is Exploding the Myths of K-pop. So I'm going to break the title down into different parts. Exploding. So what does exploding mean? Exploding means to burst or shatter violently. That's very interesting. Now let's go on to the next one, myths of K-pop. So myths actually mean something like misconceptions or misbeliefs about something, right? And this one is specifically about K-pop itself. So I don't know about you, but I think there is an idea that being a K-pop star is something that is very glamorous, that it's all about fame and fortune, but maybe it's not, and there could be more that goes on behind the scenes that all of us ordinary people don't know about. So now that we understand what exploding means as well as the myths of K-pop, what I'd like you to do is pause this video and make a prediction about what you think this text is going to be about. And leave a comment in the comment box with your prediction. So let's go on to step 2. So remember, step 2 is where we read the actual text. Now, because as I said, it's a pretty long article, so I'm not going to be reading the entire thing. I have just picked out one paragraph from the article itself, and I'll read it here for you now. Even for those who graduate to stardom, the hard work doesn't end. Kevin Lee realized this while working behind the scenes with BTS. When we went to dance practice for their shows, they'd always be arriving straight from their tours in other countries, he says. As soon as they get back, they would go to practice for 7 hours a day. They don't rest, they work hard, and that's why they are able to achieve this level of success. Remember what I said about step 2 as we are reading? You can note down any thoughts or comments you have about the paragraph itself. So again, you can pause the video to make some notes on your own. Okay, I hope you've done that. So I'm going to show you some notes that I have made. So the first thing that jumped out to me was this: graduate to stardom, the hard work doesn't end. This is interesting to me because it tells me that even after graduation, these people, they cannot stop working hard. They have to continue working hard. So imagine before you graduate, you are in school, right? So in school, you will have to study and study and study in order to pass your exams, to do well. And you would think that after graduation, it's a big sigh of relief and that's it. But it's actually not. The reality is they cannot stop working hard even after graduation. The second thing that jumped out to me was when we went to dance practice for their shows, they'd always be arriving straight from their tours in other countries. And as soon as they get back, they would go to practice for 7 hours a day. This is so crazy. Imagine they actually go straight from practice to shows to practice. It sounds like it's a non-stop working life in that sense. For this, they really need to have some perseverance. They really need to put in that hard work in order to become a successful K-pop idol. And the very last thing that jumped out to me from this paragraph is this: they don't rest, they work hard. So like I said before, they need lots of perseverance and they really don't get much time to rest. All they do almost day in, day out is work and work and work. It can be pretty tiring. I don't know about you, but my rest time is very precious to me. And if I could, I would take as many breaks as I could all day long. Well, we all know it's not possible, but it's something that we all wish for, isn't it? So imagine, put yourself in the shoes of these stars. They do not rest much. It can be exhausting and tiring. And I think it sounds like a very physically and mentally exhausting career as well, because they have to sing, they have to memorize songs, they have to dance, they have to memorize the dance moves as well, they have to perform, they have to do tours. There's so many things they have to do. I'm sure it's a really packed schedule. All right, so now that we've read this paragraph, let's go on to step 3. So if you remember, step 3 is where we infer. And when I say infer, I mean ask ourselves questions after every paragraph. So this is the paragraph again. Now, before I show you my questions, again, I'd like you to pause the video and just write down 1 or 2 questions that come to mind as you read this paragraph again. Okay, have you done that? So I'm going to show you my questions. So my first question is, why do they need to work so hard? Because I mean, they are K-pop stars. They have lots of money. Can't they pay someone to do something for them instead? Shouldn't they enjoy their fame and fortune, the money, the stardom that they have? Doesn't sound like they would enjoy it very much. So we do kind of have an answer to this question actually, because if you look at the paragraph, it says to achieve this level of success. Therefore, it kind of answers my question where it tells us that these idols, they really have to work hard and to keep on working hard in order to achieve, in order to maintain that level of success. So let's go on to the last step, which is to summarize the main idea of this particular paragraph. So once again, I'm going to show you the paragraph here. What I'd like you to do is pause the video and try to identify what you think the main idea of this paragraph is. Okay, so have you done that? Great. So now let's take a look at the paragraph again. Now remember I said that the topic sentences and the closing sentences of each paragraph can actually tell us or give us a very good indication of what the main idea of the paragraph is. So let's look at the topic sentence of this paragraph. Even for those who graduate to stardom, the hard work doesn't end. Okay, that's the first one. Let's look at the closing sentence again. They don't rest, they work hard, and that's why they are able to achieve this level of success. So you notice that the topic sentence actually talks about the hard work not ending, and the closing sentence also talks about how much hard work they have to put in. They barely get any rest in order to achieve that success. Now, if we look at the body sentences in the paragraph, it basically tells us their schedule, right? They go for dance practices and they arrive straight from the tours. Once they complete their tours and concerts and performances and those sorts of things, they come straight back and continue practicing without actually resting. Before I give you the main idea of this paragraph, let's consolidate what we know first. We know that stars don't actually lead a glamorous life because it's extremely hard work. They don't get much rest. They have to continue working hard even after graduation. They do this because they need to maintain that certain level of success. And as I said before, they really don't get much rest. So let's put this all together into a summary of a main idea, which is K-pop stars have to continue working hard to maintain a certain level of success. So did you get a summary that's something similar to this? Don't worry if it's not exactly the same, as long as your main idea is there about the K-pop stars having to work really, really hard. Okay, so that's it for the PRIS strategy, this critical reading technique. If you need to, you can watch this video again and try to go through every single step together with me once more to make sure that you fully understand what to do for each step. Once you have a better grasp of these 4 steps, what I want you to do next is to read the rest of the text. As I mentioned, the link is in the description box. You can either go directly to the website itself or you can download the shortened worksheet that I have created for you. Now, it's not just about downloading and reading the rest of the article. What I want you to do is to apply the PRIS strategy to every paragraph that you read. So it's very important that you practice this strategy so that you get better at it. And as I said before, it will help you to become a more critical thinker as well as reader. Now, after you have read and applied the PRIS strategy, I'd like you to share your summaries with me as well. So what you can do is to post your summaries in the comments box below so that I can take a look at your summaries as well. And of course, don't just limit yourself to this particular article. In the future, whenever you're reading any texts, any stories, any articles, you can apply this PRIS strategy to every single text that you read. Now do keep a lookout for my next video where I show you how to improve your vocabulary as well. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you found it useful, please give this video a like and also subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. See you in the next video. Bye!